Hello, my name's Jake Brock. I was born in Helena, Montana, where I resided till I was about 5 years old, and began my journey to Vernonia, which ended in '92, where I stayed until I was 18, and continued to live there back and forth from Hillsborough, the Portland metro area, then back to Vernonia, and have spent most of my life surrounded, or at least adjacent to, small-town America. I grew up on a river at my parents' 5-acre lot, where my brothers and I would get into all kinds of adventures, tracing across the mountains, mapping out incredible places that hadn't seen a footprint in a century. I was very fortunate to have the life I had growing up, particularly with music and the arts. Vernonia was very different from other small towns in that we were, my class in particular was very fortunate to have some incredible teachers in music, theater, and literature. I was trained very early on in a very adult way what adult theater and adult music and how to approach them as professional as possible. I was very much influenced by the teachers there, which is a very unusual thing for a town that's so economically depressed. I started playing music when I was 12 years old. I'd say my influences would probably be definitely Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, Larry McKinnon, and a whole host of others. I wrote my first song, North Ways We Go, which was recorded about 15 years later by the band I started, Broken Glory. I started Broken Glory in 2000 after seeing my very first concert. I was absolutely changed by that show. It was Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's CSNY 2K. And after going to that show and seeing those men put out more passion and energy than I ever imagined possible on the stage, I knew what I wanted to do for a living. In 2001, after the towers fell in New York, I wrote a song called Don't Know, which got our band some acclamation from around the region for its poignancy and power. It was a pinnacle moment in the group's life and in my life as a writer. We continued playing music all around the Pacific Northwest region, particularly Portland metro area, developing our skills, honing our skills, songwriting, performing, playing. We started doing covers like most bands do, especially young ones, and that's how we really learned how to play our instruments and work cohesively in a band, which later led to our ability to perform with other musicians and to record. Songs of the Damned is the project right now that I'm trying to get funded via Kickstarter. It is an accumulation of songs written since about 2008, towards the beginning of the economic crisis. One of the main points with the song, or with the album, that I'm trying to make is that things are not going well. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. However, I wanted to look at it from the point of view of a rural town, which is where I'm from. In particular, how when I was a kid in the 90s, things were somewhat prosperous. People could make a living, and how it's not like that anymore, how everybody is struggling. I saw unfairness in the fact that homes were being foreclosed and taken by banks when the banks themselves were getting help for their irresponsible behavior. And some of these people weren't being irresponsible at all, yet They were having to pay for it. Now, there are various reasons for the bailouts, and that's not what I'm trying to get into. The point is that there was an inherent unfairness there. And I've just seen the small town people that I grew up with absolutely, continuously get the rear end of everything. Songs of the Damned is trying to express, from my point of view, the cultural change from the 90s to the present, and that it's a bad one. Hence, the damned. It's not a religious connotation. I mean it simply in its most literal sense, damned as in no hope. And because when you walk through a small town, and I don't care if it's on the West Coast or the East Coast, and I've been to the East Coast in small towns, and there's a certain hopelessness there that didn't used to be. It didn't used to be this bad. Songs of the Damned is my personal cry, my personal weeping at the death of my small town, my way of life. And I want to be mad at corporations, and I want to hold my finger to them, but I can't. We're all to blame. And that makes me even sadder. This album is my attempt as one man to try and wake us all up, to say the things that country music will not say, rap music doesn't say anymore. We're all so anesthetized by these small devices and what Kim Kardashian is doing on Twitter and Facebook that we have all lost reality on what's going on. And I'm not using this album to say one thing is to blame or one thing is the other, because I don't have the answers. But what I can do is say, hey, see this? This isn't right. Let's all wake up and deal with it. And my way to do that, I feel, to reach people, and always has been since I was about 14, has been through my music. To entertain somebody, to make somebody feel. It is my art, it is my craft. And it's not a soapbox for me to say, you've been wrong and this political party has done this. It's not about politics, that's not what I'm doing. What this is me using my medium, like a sculptor in marble, to use my music, my voice, my soul, to craft pieces of music, to show the point of view of the people in small town America who are either unable to or incapable of saying for themselves, or perhaps are just too distracted to say. This album is the pinnacle of my career, and I need your help to make that happen. $1, $5. This is Kickstarter. If you're new to Kickstarter, go ahead and hit the Tell Me About Kickstarter button and find out about it, if you would, please. Because I can't do this alone. Believe me, if I could, I would. But maybe the community coming together to express itself, much like the Greeks and the Romans did. Public money or art. And we know what the Greeks and Romans were about, because their art still is still there. And I'm not saying I'm Cicero. I'm not saying I'm Bob Dylan. But I am me. And I'm a member of the 21st century. And I'm trying to tell my story. And that's Songs of the Damned. thank you very much for listening. And thank you for your contributions of both time and or money. It means the world to me.